Hello and welcome to HMG Network, broadcasting live from the Greater Washington, D.C. Metro. I am Freeman Singirankabo, and this is A Free Dominion. For those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from the social media, we want to give you a huge welcome. Welcome. For those of you who do not know me, I am Freeman Singirankabo, and I am one of the hosts here at HMG Network. On this newly show, A Free Dominion. So for those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live directly from our televisions, from radio stations, or even social media, welcome. We are so thrilled that you can find some time out of your busy schedule to join us today as it happens as we have these conversations. We are super excited to find an opportunity to come to you again today as we share many different ideas with you all, especially the issues of which we care very deeply about on each and every one of our days. So for those of you guys joining us live, we are really excited. We are very excited, especially that it's been quite some time since we have done any of our live broadcast due to some other duties that we had to attend. But we are so thrilled that we can find some time today to hang with you guys and exchange. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this broadcast, with our Free Dominion broadcast, it is one of our newly broadcast program that we have started earlier this year in January. And the purpose of this show is to educate our brothers and sisters, is to speak boldly, to speak with no apologies, to speak the things of which we care mostly about. So for those of you guys who aren't very familiar with what the show is about or the idea, I believe it is only just that I start from there. So what is a free dominion? A free dominion, it's an idea that's there to inspire you, to advocate and to really speak on behalf of our brothers and sisters in Africa. Those of you who are kings and queens in Africa, we are speaking on your behalf. But in particular, we intend to speak on behalf of our brothers and sisters who are voiceless. We intend to communicate those bold ideas, these ideas that are sometimes not necessarily popular, but necessary to have. And we want to make sure that we also support, that we also rally behind ideas, action plans, or activities that we deem fit for ourselves, that we deem important enough for ourselves to invest ourselves in. But when we talk about a free dominion, it goes really further. It goes much more further, much more deeper, which is why we are not only passionate about it, but we want to make sure that you also get to understand what it is we're doing here. We don't just want you to connect and to just link up with us. We want you to connect with intent. We want you to know why you're here. So that you can actually not waste any time and certainly not waste our time. We want to be able to be fruitful to each and every one of you, but we also want to receive from you as well and share your fruits. So with that in mind, the Afri Dominion as an idea, we inspire, we advocate, and we speak on behalf of our brothers and sisters, and we ensure that we created an environment where we can actually have a complete and total dominion of Africa and African resources by African sons and daughters, or kings and queens, for the purpose or for the benefit of African people primarily, and the rest of the world afterwards. Oftentimes, most of you I have had instances where I find myself explaining what that meant or what it means, what that idea means. Some people have have came through and say, hey, isn't that actually some sort of discrimination? And we can boldly say, no, it is not discrimination. Every action, it starts with someone. And we know that our brothers and sisters, our communities as Africans, we are super marginalized. Oftentimes, we don't have the resources for our own selves to do the things that we care much deeply about. We are busy doing other people's work. We are busy enriching other people. We are busy bidding on someone else's idea, someone else's project, but we never get to have our own project. We never get to have our own houses in order. So everything that we do here at Afri Dominion is first and foremost for the purpose and the benefit of African people, sons and daughters of African descendants of Africa. But we want to make sure that for all these ideas, all these activities, we get to have the full control, full dominion of Africa and Africa resources. And this full and total dominion is by African people. And we want to make sure that we go by one country at a time, one region at a time, one village at the time, to make sure that we actually have that full control ourselves. It is where then you don't have to sugar, you don't need it. You don't need to sugarcoat nothing. You don't need to have any excuses as to why this isn't getting happen, or this isn't being done, or that isn't being done. We get to eliminate all these excuses. Why? Because now you are in the driving seat. You can decide on a project. You can decide on an action plan, and you can actually be the very first one to take a part in it, to participate in it. And we want to make sure that that opportunity is actually being shared amongst the rest of our brothers and sisters all over Africa. And then, once you can demonstrate the ideas that you have cooking inside of your brain, the ideas or the action plan you have going on are tested from you directly, from your own people, before you give it to somebody else. If it doesn't work with you, there is no reason why you should be giving it to somebody else. So essentially, everything that we do, that we are doing, that we are sharing, we're doing it first and foremost for our own people, for our own selves. Because if it works, or if it's taken it somewhere, then we become we can witness to the fact that, hey, this works. It's working for us. And therefore, you can choose to either follow it, to either use it, to either be a part of it or not. Bottom line, we want to make sure that we are fruitful. We want to make sure that the things that we are doing, it is beneficial to our own people. But as you are fully aware, or as you, most of you are aware, Africa has been burning. Our homes, our villages, our nations are literally being decimated, are being destroyed. Sometimes by our own people, and other times by foreigners. So we want to make sure that we put an end to that. And there's no other ways to put an end to that than going directly to where the problem is and become a solution instead of a problem. And so the Afri Dominion show, it's a mouthpiece of this idea. We want to make sure that we communicate to each and every one of you, those of you with ideas, those of you with action plan, those of you with projects. We want to make sure that we get close to you, we get nearby, and we get to see, to follow, to learn what you are doing, and then we get to have an opportunity to be a part of it, even as far as becoming partners in those different activities, in those adventures, in those projects that you're running, because we have all the solutions to the problems that we're running through as families, as communities. But until we can actually sit down, until we can actually recognize that, hey, Nobody is going to be able to solve this problem except us. Then the problems will always remain. And with that in mind, we want to make sure that we have zero excuse as to why we cannot become solutions. We cannot be the solution providers to various problems and various opportunities, I call them, that we have. If we can be an added value to outsiders, why can we not be added value to ourselves? And I submit to you that it's possible. We can do it. We are doing it, and we want to make sure that we actually can do it on a much bigger scale. And that is what you can expect from Afri Dominion. We have many things we are doing. We actually have broken it down into themes so that we can actually be able to better manage the content, to better manage all these ideas, all these action plans based on different themes. You may be wondering, what kind of themes do you have, and how does that benefit me? First and foremost, we have opened our channels so that each and every one of you can benefit from it. Most of you never had any platform that actually promote activities, promote the things that you care mostly about, the things that you really cherish. We never had these opportunities before. But today we do have these opportunities. Today you can promote yourselves, you can promote your activities, you can promote your community, you can promote your establishment, and you can do the very best, basically. It is this time you and only you who can say, I have failed, not because I didn't try, but because maybe I wasn't interested. So the opportunities at hand, the opportunities that we have right now are the kind of activities, the kind of opportunities that do not come by every single day. And that is why we are super grateful to HMG Network and affiliates for actually having taken some time to participate, to broadcast our ideas, our opinion, to promote our activities as sons and daughters of Africa or descendants of Africa, in making sure that where we are gathering or where we are gathered, we can actually have some sort of big microphone that comes there and say, hey, I am here, I exist. I want you to know, I want you to be a part of what we are doing as a community, as families, so we can actually uplift one another. And with that in mind, because the ideas that we have are so broad, we've taken it upon ourselves to actually dissect everything that we do into different themes. We broadcast from Monday through Friday, and every day has a unique theme from Monday all the way to Friday. On Mondays, we talk about eradication of refugees and stateless persons. Here in particular, again, we start by our own brothers and sisters, Africans. So we basically talk about eradication of African refugees and African stateless persons. This is a pandemic amongst Africans. We have so many refugees as Africans. We have so many stateless persons. And this should never be. Because each and every one of you, each and every one of us, we have a source. We have a place where we came from. But due to various factors, especially wars, most of us have lost our basic homes, our roots. Most of us, we no longer have an address where we came from. And oftentimes, not because of our wish, but because of other various factors, especially warfares. So we want to be able to actually reverse the course of refugees and actually get back in a position where we can get back home. We can nourish ourselves all over again. We can do and participate in activities that actually nurture ourselves, that benefit us, instead of destroying ourselves and destroying our home and our hometowns and so on. So on Mondays, we absolutely get to talk about that, and we get to actually have solutions that are not only practical, but we can test them. We can test them amongst ourselves, and we make sure that whatever conditions that we find ourselves in, we can have a mitigation plan. We can have means by which we can say, you know what, if we do A, B, C, D, there is a likelihood that everything is going to be okay. On Tuesdays, we get to talk about the Constitution, law and policy review, and implementation. That may sound so fancy. Most of my friends, they get to say, wow, we didn't know you are a lawyer. You don't have to be a lawyer to read laws, to read guidelines, to read instructions. You do not have to be a lawyer to understand instructions if you're careful and if you pay attention to what is being given to you. You can certainly decipher so many things. It's unfortunate that most of our brothers and sisters, we barely have the time to decipher a lot of these messages, to take the time to understand messages that are actually detrimental to our lives. And I'll submit to you that if you take your time, learn who you are, learn your surroundings, learn what you are about, a lot of hurdle, a lot of activities, a lot of mishap, they won't be happening. Because you will be very careful as to how you react, how you approach this situation and that situation, and how you actually go about looking for solutions of the situation at hand. And all of this, you cannot do it when you're dodging bullets, when you're running every day, when you are a refugee living under a tree, when you cannot sleep, you have sleepless night 5 days out of 7. So we want to make sure that we create conditions that actually allow us to become the very best version of ourselves. Allow us to become who we are, truly, who we truly are. On Wednesdays, we get to talk about our testimony. We get to write our own history, our ways, and with no apologies. That's how we do it on Wednesdays. I love Wednesdays because you can actually speak what's on your heart. You can actually talk about your own life experience, the way you have it in your head, the way you're living it. And you don't have to feel like, hey, do I need a degree to actually share this part about how my life experience has gone? Do I need a specific license to share with you how that situation got me left or right? None of the above. You can write or rewrite all the wrongs that has happened to you. You have an opportunity to set the record straight. Especially that right now Africa has a crisis when it comes to history, to its history. Our history has been deliberately deleted. Listen to me. Our history has been deliberately deleted, meaning someone out there made sure that you do not get to know who you are as Africans. And so one of the things that we are doing is to reverse that, is to learn who we are, to embrace who we are, to rewrite who we are. And not only that, this time around, we can actually come forward and share our own life experience. Preserve the history preserve the lessons we have gotten out of this experience. But one of the most serious and important things that I have found out is that when you speak up, you take away the power from that someone who's defining you. You can actually define yourself. There have been so many historians who've taken it upon themselves to define who you are as a people, who you are as Africans. And your history is pretty much someone else's dissertation, whether correct or not. That someone is creating a history for you and they're making sure that that is the history you appropriate yourselves. That is so dangerous. Imagine you being told who you are by someone who doesn't know you. Not only that, you are forced to actually live that kind of life, that kind of experience. It becomes tough. It becomes tough. And we want to make sure that that doesn't become you today nor tomorrow. On Thursdays, we get to talk about the spirit of dominion. What is that? We love that word dominion because when you're dominating, you're being yourselves. We are kings and queens. We have the power to dominate, to take control over all the environment around us. When you're dominating, you are actually being yourselves. That is naturally who you are as a person. There's nothing strange about you dominating. That is your essence, to dominate things. And that is not a bad word at all. You get to have control over resources at your disposal. You get to nourish, you get to protect, you get to make better the resources around you. You get to give life to those resources. That is something very exciting. That is who you are as a people. You are not tails, you are heads. You are not slaves, you are kings and queens. But somehow when someone tells you who you are, they take away your true identity and they give you another identity, you become a crisis at hand. And we want to make sure that that isn't you today nor tomorrow. So on Thursdays, we get to have the opportunity to take charge of ourselves, of our life, of our destiny. On Friday, we get to talk about current event and its impact towards Africa and African people. On Friday as well is another one of those days that I love because you get to set the agenda. You get to actually talk about the things that you care mostly about. And not to mention that you can check in with our brothers and sisters all over the planet, all over the world. You can check in with each and every one of them. And actually, I forgot to mention to you guys that not only you get to check in, but you actually get to join the rest of the collective. And you can tap into the power from various brothers and sisters, those who are established and those who are looking for opportunity to establish themselves. All because you actually allow yourself to become who you are. We have all of that, all those activities from our website, which I had forgotten to share that information with you. If you want to get in touch with a lot of these brothers and sisters, those who are plugged in, those who are making things happen, you can find them on our website, which is afridominion.com or www.afridominion.com, and be sure to connect, look for the number that's there, look for the email that's there, and connect with those brothers and sisters. The email, the main email that we use, it's info@afridominion.com. Info@afridominion.com. And be sure to connect. Be sure to be a part of a greater good for your own people, a greater good for your own, for your own village, for your own nation, because today that is what we need. All right. And so, and with that in mind, I am super thrilled that we are here today. We're sharing with you guys, and as you can see today, I started off a little bit different, unlike the way we normally start. I wanted to just start something a little bit of different today, mainly because the energy that I had today insisted that I start differently today, which is one of the things actually I can tell you that we are so grateful of. Even though this is a program that actually describes who we are as a people. This is a program that you don't have to fake being someone else that you're not. Here you can actually be you and be happy being yourself. Everybody else is taken. So you may as well learn how to accept you. You might as well learn how to appreciate you. You may as well learn how to appreciate your environment, your surroundings, and just bond with it. Get to know who you are, who you truly are, not what they have told you to be. Because it's very important, especially in the world that we live in today. As tough, as rough, as crazy as it is, you best know who you are as a person. You best know who you are as a family. You best know who you are as a nation. Because ignoring that will certainly lead you to destruction. Guarantee. And with that in mind, today is Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, it's our testimony time. It's our history telling and writing, and today is no different, especially that it's been a while since we actually had an opportunity to share with you guys. For those of you who have been following, you've realized that we haven't done any live broadcast for almost a month, I think, right? I believe something like a month. It wasn't that we didn't have any content. It wasn't that we have ignored our responsibilities. We just couldn't. We've taken on a project that is also bigger. That is bigger that was there to sort of like cleanse us, to sort of allow us to bond, to sort of allow us to scale up. For some of those of you, I'm hoping that you are actually fully understanding what I'm saying. Scaling up, it means growing up. Having the capacity to actually become larger, become bigger, without sacrificing the quality, without sacrificing all the important things that you hold so dear to. So we've gone through some growing situation. I was gonna say that we had to grow up, the pains of growing up, and oftentimes not knowing which route is best for you to follow, especially when you're growing so fast. So we also have gone through that ourselves, and I'm super grateful that opportunity also has landed us some of the things of which I believe we are going to benefit from. And part of the growth also has been to be able to know who we are as a people. You notice that today the topic is saying that, who am I? I am a spirit and I am not spiritual. And let me put it out there first and foremost. I'm not a priest. I'm not a pastor. I'm not these people who read something from the Bible, who read something from Quran, who read something from any of these religious books, and then they just come in and feed it to you. What you see is what you got. The knowledge that we are fed, the information that we are fed. We actually breathe that information. We get to learn the information. We get to appropriate that information in a such way that it's meaningful in our lives. Hence, me saying, I sort of like asked a question and then I responded to that same question. I started saying, who am I? Because oftentimes we have an identity crisis, especially as Africans. Because we've been defined for so many centuries, the majority of us are afraid of who we are as a people. You can find someone who's trying to be something else other than themselves. And one of the things that I want to leave with you today is to tell you, never be ashamed of who you are. Never, 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 never from today, if you have these insecurities about who you are, you have to snap out of it. You are an amazing creature. You are an amazing human being. You are not just a king, you are a queen as well, depending on whether you are a male or female. We love a term that's a lion. We love associating ourselves with being a lion, a king. Because a lion is like, it's a master of a jungle. We are also masters. Hence, you being a king and a queen. And when I use these words, guys, I am literally meaning what I'm saying. I know some of you had gotten into some trouble lately when people look at you and then they're like, okay, what are you smoking? What's wrong with you guys? What's happening here? Because today we live in republics. We have many republics, yet we're talking about kings and queens. And the last time we checked, they say that kingdoms have been, almost 99% of kingdoms on earth have been destroyed. Nobody wants to be ruled by a king and a queen. We have very few kingdoms remaining right now on planet Earth. Very few kingdoms. And my question to you guys, have you taken the time to find out why is it that we no longer have kingdoms? What's wrong with kingdoms? I know most of you can give me a rap sheet. First and foremost, they have been enslaving you. They have been, you can give me as many reasons why we no longer have kingdoms, which is true. Most of it is true. However, when we talk about kings and queens, I want you to know, we're not talking about these regular kingdoms, the ones that have colonized the entire planet and still colonizing the entire planet. We are so crafty as human beings today. The same activities that have been enslaving people during kingdom times are still existing today. They just have different names. A lot of these very smart people, they realize, hey, if we simply eradicate these words, we get rid of the words that we're using, but we maintain the systems, give them different names, it's a win-win for us. And that's how you can see how a continent like Africa has been going backwards. Africa is one of the last continents that has been actually colonized as recent as like 40 years ago. Literally 40, 50 years ago. And then they get to say, okay, we are banning slavery. We want to make sure that we free these people. However, the same way you can say you no longer call such and such a name, and we're giving you another name, but your actions, everything is right underneath, nobody's going to bother changing it. That's what happened to most of our brothers and sisters. The systems that have colonized us still exist. They simply changed the name. You, as a king and as a queen, how did you become a slave? What happened? Something detrimental, something big deal has happened for you to give up being a royal son and daughter to becoming a slave to someone. And understand, I'm very careful with the words that I'm choosing to use today. Because I know this topic is oftentimes very sensitive. And most people are also, some of you may be offended, and others might be like, okay, what the hell are you talking about? Hence me saying, I am a spirit, but I'm not spiritual. And my first homework to you guys, today I'm going to be giving you guys homework. Do you know the difference between you being a spirit and you being spiritual? I'm not going to give you an answer today. Why? Because if you really, really are hungry, you're just going to have to eat the whole thing, or you're going to have to leave the plate on the side. So part of that journey that we have had this past month and or so, it has been to actually to awaken ourselves, has been to found our brothers and sisters, has been to share some of the most deeply real things about us in awakening them. To some of you might sound so spooky, but I want to submit to you that I personally am a spirit. I'm not spiritual, I'm a spirit. And I'm not being philosophical either. Why am I talking about this today? I would hope that you get to actually find, you get to ask yourself that question, because this whole month and also so many things have been happening. The same way things has always been happening, but in particular, we have so many changes that's been taking place on a such fast-paced basis than we have ever seen before. You have so many decisions being taken, so many decisions taking place, being implemented. There are those people who are just watching and looking like this, and they have no idea what's happening. There are those of you who are actually watching. You could be perplexed, or you could be like, yeah, I'm following, but somehow, somewhere, you're like, okay, whatever, let's just let it be. And to some of you, you're like, phew, you have no idea what's happening. And this world continues to happen. What am I saying? What am I saying? There are forces that are governing you and I. There are invisible forces that have taken charge of you, your activities, your lives, your decision processes, the things that you care so deeply about. To the extent that these forces, they make sure that you pick what they want you to pick. So when we take some time and we dial back, we want to do like a self-diagnostic test, right, where you can actually have an opportunity to say, okay, so who am I? Where am I exactly? Where do I stand? Out of all these things happening, where do I stand? Where do I fit? Where is my position? Where is your position? Do you know it? Why does that matter? Yesterday we were just talking about Ukraine situation, how some of our brothers and sisters are stuck. Not because they've chosen to, but because the situation at hand does not allow them to make the moves that they would like to make. How do you find yourself in a predicament, in a situation that you have zero control over? Explain to me how that happens. Yet it isn't the first or the last time. It has happened to our families for millennia. So many times. And oftentimes these things are happening because we have eyes, but these eyes are not seeing. We've got ears, but these ears of ours are not listening. You've got nose, but these nose of ours, they're not actually functioning accordingly. We've got a brain with 500 billion cells, but we're barely using any. So consequently, us not using all the faculties we have at hand result in us forfeiting. You forfeit your right as a king and as a queen. You forfeit your right to manage all the resources or the resources in your kingdoms. You forfeit the right to your inheritance. Real talk, guys. Real talk. This is not speculation. This is not philosophy. I want you guys to know the difference. This is not hypothetical kind of thing. This is real life scenario. And if you do not get to understand a word that I'm saying out of this whole entire conversation, get a sober mind. Listen to this conversation again, because there are certain things that we are communicating and we want to communicate, but we want to make sure that it's communicated to a sober mind. We have agenda to follow. We have situation that we must get out of. You and I, we are out of position. We are not standing right where we need to be standing. And oftentimes we're missing the mark to the activities that we should be participating in. Sometimes we make it, and other times we're not making it. So why did I call myself that I'm a spirit, but I'm not spiritual? What is a spirit? To begin with, I think for those of you who do not know, this may be a good time to wonder like, okay, what the heck are you talking about? What is a spirit? A spirit is a being. It's invisible to this naked eye. Why does it matter? You may be asking. There's a guy inside of me that's talking to you right now. I've got this suit called a human body. But for this human body to have activities, to do things, there's something inside of me that's enabling me to use this body. That's the thing we have code name for a spirit. That's the real me. I'm using this body so I don't spook you off, so you can see me. What does it have to do with anything? You may be wondering. You may see people who love to pray. Whatever denomination you find yourself in, that's not the point. But there is a thing that we call prayer. There's a thing that most of us do when things are falling apart or when we are losing control on this planet Earth, and you have a tendency to pray. that prayer, that activity, it's one of the activities that every king and queen exercises on a regular basis. And again, that word has taken like a jacket. It's dressed up. When you're praying, there is another equivalent word to prayer. It's something government uses or judicial systems use, something they call petition. Most of you are familiar with petition. You may see when you have things happening in your local region, and you say we want to write a petition so that we can have A, B, C, D. Petition has so much to do with rights. You cannot claim a right when you're not a citizen to a nation, to a kingdom. I hope you see where I'm going with this. We're switching words. We're giving new words with code names to confuse you, oftentimes, or to just feel smart. However, you are a spirit. You are a being. You are invisible inside of this body, which gives you the license to operate on planet Earth. Your Father, who's given you this life, has made it so that you get to have this suit called a body in order for you to function on this planet. And He made sure that every activity that you get to participate in, you must have this suit. But He also made sure that He left some sort of rules and regulation that enables you to actually legally have activities on planet Earth. Legally, understand me. Yesterday I was saying that our brothers and sisters are stuck in Ukraine because they snuck in illegally. And now they're having trouble fleeing the war zone because they don't have any papers. They don't have valid passport. In order for you to have a passport, you must be a citizen to a nation. And right now I'm saying that first and foremost, in order for you to be legal on planet Earth, you have to have this suit called a body. And not only you have to have this suit called a body, but you also have to belong to a certain community. And that certain community gets together and it forms a nation. And that nation gives you a citizenship. And when you become a citizen to that nation, then you can be given rights. These rights ensure that you are protected because now you belong to that nation. Now you can say, as a citizen of this nation, I have the right to do A, B, C, D. So many rights. When someone comes in and pushes you out of your nation, you become rightless. That's a Freeman made up word, meaning you lose your rights, basically. You lose your citizenship. You lose that opportunity to be protected in that land that you can call your own. You lose the privileges that you would normally have had you been in your own homeland. You can be dropped on, a bomb can fall on you like you see it over there in Ukraine, and nobody cares because you don't belong there to begin with, and so they say. So in order for us to sort out all that mess, You got to go backwards to who you truly are. You got to know who you are. It all starts with you as a spirit. A spirit is a being that is invisible to this naked eye. Now, when you try to be spiritual, it's like you're trying to be something that you're not. That's why I say, I'm a spirit, I'm not being spiritual. A spiritual person, it's like a movie, it can be like a movie player, like an actor. So back in the days, they used to have these hypocrite. Hypocrite, it's an actor who assumes many roles and responsibilities in a play. So before technology came to be, people who played movies, they play like 5, 6, 7 different roles as one person. And they will have a little mask. And then on one time they would show something, and then they will go behind the curtain and then switch, give you something else. And hence we call them hypocrites. A person with many faces. An actor with many faces. Why? Because they were portraying various actors, various action, but they were one person. But now movies have many actors. They can give you many different, they can give you many responsibilities, but bottom line is you don't have to be one actor in the whole movie. You can have a bunch of actors in it, which makes a movie not only exciting, but now you can follow because you can say, hey, I love that character. And then everything about that character you memorize. So now what does that have to do with spirits and with you as a king, as a queen, and so forth? Listen to me very carefully. And I really insist that you listen to me. Today, us not having the privilege of knowing who we are, we have become professional actors. We want to be other people. We play to be other people. Because when you are that person, you don't have to be judged so critically by the world that we live in today. You can fill in with the collective here, with a clique, with a certain group here, or a certain group there, or another group right there. For instance, us as Rwandese people, they created this thing that we call ethnicities. You have the Hutus, you have the Tutsis, and you have the Twas. 3 different ethnic backgrounds in Rwanda. Now, these people, you've heard of something they call a machete. When a machete hit a Hutu, this guy would actually bleed red blood. When that machete would hit a Tutsi, they would still bleed red blood. When that machete would hit a Twa, still they would bleed same type of blood. And you wonder, why are we so busy figuring out which label is best for me? Is it because there is a certain fear that we have? Is it because of a lack of who you truly are as a person? Or is it because that someone out there is attempting to redefine you, to tell you who you are, because they need to use you to perform a certain action that them or that themselves aren't able to perform? You're becoming a hypocrite to these other people who have figured out a way to make you become a version of what they want to see, to represent their own endeavors. So what am I saying still? For those of you who aren't listening to me, I am saying to you that I have become aware. I've become aware of who I am. who I am truly, 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 truly am. And because of me knowing who I am, it has actually allowed me to realize everything else that I used to be. And I can actually say, hey, I used to be that, but I know that's not me. I may see myself doing that, but I know that's not me. I know what you want me to be, but I know that's not me. I am Freeman. I am Bikorwa. And I am Singirankabo. Today I know who I am. And every day I am learning. And I am refining who I am. Not just as a human being, but first and foremost as a spirit. That invisible being inside of this suit. So because I have a contract to make better this planet and to leave it better than the way I found it, I cannot do that if I'm not being myself. It's not a favor that I find myself being a king. It's not a favor that you find yourself being a king or a queen. It's who you truly are. It's a function that allows you to actually become who you are so you can be able to be helpful to this planet. I know this conversation is going to be difficult to most of you because we don't talk like this every day. I recognize that. But there's one thing that I can actually submit to you guys. We are growing every day. We have so much responsibility at hand that living the way you used to live isn't going to cut it. If you must take back what is yours, what is rightfully yours, you've got to have all your faculties up and running. You have to be able to boldly claim what is yours. And you have to be able to fight for what is yours. There's so much power in you. So much power in you. And you've got to stop being a hypocrite. Or you must stop being an actor. We don't need actors. We need real people. Stop being an actor. It's okay to be an actor. But remember, if you're an actor, you are disadvantaging yourself. The true you. If you're busy being an actor for 24 hours, it's like you're suffocating the true you. Most of us, we are happy being actors every single day. Challenges come in and you solve them through easy way you find as an actor. Because you being an actor makes it easy for you. You can hide. If something goes wrong, you don't have to be liable. Because after all, you were just being an actor. So we gotta stop being actors, guys. You gotta embrace who you are as a person. But above all, you have to take some time to learn who you truly are and appreciate who you are and get to love you. And I know I am sparingly using this word love because also when you say love, my definition of love could be completely different than your definition of love. Which is why one of the things that I like to do is to get in a habit of defining the words that I'm using or giving them or give these words some sort of meaning so that when I use it, you can actually translate what I'm saying as opposed to assuming what I'm saying. So going back to being a spirit and not being spiritual. Again, I told you that as a spirit, I am a being. I know myself. I don't have to be an actor to be something that I'm not. I am literally Freeman. And I am Singirankabo. That is who I am. I am Bikorwa. That is who I am. I don't have to act like Freeman because I am Freeman. I don't have to pretend to be Singirankabo because I'm already Singirankabo. Now, you can try to be me. Someone else might try to be me. Or someone might be like, you know what, I think you are such and such and such. Somebody else may want to tell me who I am. And if I like what they have defined me to be, I may find myself saying, yes, I am. I am whatever it is you said that I am. Now, given that you have been given a brain that has 500 million cells at least, it is irresponsible for you to allow that supercomputer in your brain to just be misused and used by any person who finds you. Again, most of you might be wondering, what am I going with all these things? There is a huge relationship of what's happening today on our planet, what's happening today in your own nation, what's happening today in your community, what's happening today in your own family with your true identity. We have an identity crisis today as brothers and sisters, as Africans. The entire planet has that crisis, but in particular now, our brothers and sisters, we are super lost. We have a huge identity crisis today. You gotta be able to know who you are. And you have to be able to be comfortable accepting who you are. And for the first time, leaving to be who you are. It is one of the most challenging tasks, especially if you have been living as someone else, or as a hypocrite, as an actor. And you can only be yourself when you get back to your house for just a few hours, either when you're going to sleep or when you are by yourselves. And you get to hate yourself because it's not sexy. It's not, you don't feel appreciated when you're trying to be you. Why? You've spent so much time being somebody else that you've been neglecting yourself. So today, my brothers and sisters, I am here telling you that you need the time for you. You need the time to self-discover. You need the time to recharge yourselves. You need some time to go and hide and allow the true you to breathe for a little bit without having to compete for attention from so many various places. You need some time for you to sort out some of the entanglement that you're dealing with today. You need some time for yourself to figure out where do you actually belong on this planet. Where do you actually fit in on this planet? Are you in your right position? Can you be effective right where you are? Can you recognize the difference of where you truly belong and where you are just for the sake of being there? Can you recognize your own energy, your own signature? Meaning, can you see you in any given place and recognize that that is you versus someone else who has been pre-programmed to look like you? I am taking some time to talk about this because we are arriving in a very, 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 very difficult situation where your brain is being shut off, where you are told that, you know what, let us do all the thinking, you simply do all the listening and all the execution. Today, the human systems, human created systems, are in charge of you. These systems are deciding what you have to be doing, what you must be doing by any means necessary. These systems decide when to go to war, when to wage a war, when you must become a refugee, when you must go home, when you must leave the land that you have claimed as a refugee. Because the value systems that these systems are using are not the value system that is embedded inside of you as a king and a queen. You need to know the value system that is imprinted inside of you. And that value system is the only value system that you must follow. Consequently, there is going to be, for the lack of a better word, conflict between the true value system that reflect the true you and the value system that's already set up for you to follow. Which is why it's so imperative, it is so important that, my brothers and sisters, you wake up. You get to find out who you are. You get to really find out who you are. Get to understand who you are. Let me stress this one out. Get to comprehend who you are. If you do not know who you are, millions of people have an opportunity to define you, have opportunities to tell you who they think you are. And your Creator help you. You're going to need some help if you get it wrong. Or if you lose your true image, your true identity. Because most of our brothers and sisters, they have lost it. That's how they can find themselves in Ukraine and they can't come out. That's how you can find yourself outside of Rwanda. And you are so happy being outside of Rwanda instead of being inside of Rwanda. That's how you find yourself outside of DRC, outside of Nigeria, outside of Ivory Coast, outside of Egypt, outside of Sierra Leone, outside of South Africa. You can name so many nations, a whole lot of you, who find yourself becoming stateless person, becoming refugees, who have lost your true identity, and you've embraced a temporary identity that's only given to you based on the role you're supposed to be playing by the day. Guys, I'm not being funny. I'm not even laughing either. I hope you don't find this as a comedy, because I'm not being funny. Many lives are perishing today because of the lack of their true identity. Because of not knowing who they are. Because of not knowing the power that resides inside of you. It is so difficult, guys, to to sometimes talk about these issues, mainly because if I'm speaking to a Chinese person and this Chinese person doesn't speak English or doesn't speak my Kinyarwanda or whatever other language I may be speaking, I can pour my heart out to them. And then they can just be like, hey. They can just look at you and become excited, but get nothing of what you are saying. I am hoping that you can grasp even just a little bit of what I'm saying to you guys. And I'm hoping that you can be open enough to fully understand and comprehend the message that is behind it all. I know it may be a toss-up to most of you, but I am quite sure that those of you who are listening also. So, without boring you, I want to break down just a few things and then we wrap it up. We are in a critical season, guys. A really critical season. A season that doesn't have mercy for you as to whether you know who you say, you know who you are, or you are ignorant of who you are. We have a season that will not ask whether you have learned, you have taken the time to learn who you are or not. We have a season that only reads, is it right or is it wrong? Is it yes or is it no? We will not be able to claim like, hey, I never knew this. It's a merciless season that we are in right now. We must go home. We must become aware of our home. We must become aware of who we truly are versus who we play to be or pretend to be. We must be able to assume who we are truly are. The season we are in requires that you become you. You only live to be you. You stop being an actor or a hypocrite. We have so many professional actors who are actually living other people's lives. And they have neglected to live their true lives. And I pray and I hope that it's not you. Because in the end, you are going to perish faster. There's nowhere you can reclaim your own inheritance if you are busy being a hypocrite or an actor with many faces. There's nowhere you can reclaim your inheritance if you are busy being an actor. I want you to hear me correctly. We are in a season to redeem and to reclaim our inheritance by any means necessary. We're in a season that requires that we become serious, that we become more aware of where we are, our environment, and our true self. There are certain roles that we have to play, but you cannot play these roles if you have no knowledge of them. We are in a season that requires that we stop being distracted. Can you decipher your own season? Can you figure out your own season? And can you do what is required of you in your season? And have an opportunity to pass it on to the next kin? Or are you just going to cruise in without caring of what's coming for you and for your own people? These questions are here to stay until we face them. They're not going to go away. They will stay here until we answer them. No matter how many times we may delay or we may choose to ignore them, these questions are here to stay. And so are the consequences of ignoring them. So there are certain things that are happening with or without you being ready, with or without you being the true you. And I will rather hope and pray that you are actually in your right position when these situations start taking place. That is really my hope, my prayer for you. Remember, a prayer is a petition. A petition, it's something that allows you to have access to something that is legally yours. Something that is legally yours can be given to you only when you are a citizen. And as a citizen, you ought to know your responsibilities in terms of what is your stewardship. I know I may be speaking Chinese to some of you. And we're going to work hard to sort of refine the message so you can better understand it. Someone just left some interesting comment about the 5 million African black innocent perished. It's more than that, my brother. It's more than that. So we have a very challenging season ahead of us. And it's only challenging because we have not invested in studying, in comprehending who we truly are as a people. However, we are also working so hard to decipher our true identity, to understand and to comprehend who we truly are. So that we can have the balance. And it is my hope, guys. It is my hope that none of you perish. None of you perishes because you have not taken seriously your true identity. You have not given yourself the time to get to know you the right way. The season we are in, it's a season that is far more brutal to most of our people, to most of Africans. You could be in your own village and that season may find you there. And if you are ill-equipped to deal with that season, you are absolutely going to perish. So the survival means for you and your family, I need not tell you that it should be at your highest priority. We know jokes. Jokes aside, there are so many things happening today that is detrimental to your own lives. There are certain stakeholders who would rather you stay asleep and in ignorance, especially about who you truly are. And I'm here to tell you that you as a king and as a queen, you have an obligation. You have an obligation to take back the responsibilities of which have been entrusted to you. Be it an inheritance or something that is left to you, but you have not been very straightforward or busy or paying a close attention to that stewardship that is left within you. Countless lives are perishing today because we are misaligned. We are out of position. No matter how many courts, no matter how many people who may decide, hey, we believe we are best equipped to deal with this crime or that crime or that crime. If you are out of position, inevitable things are going to happen because you are simply not in the right position. Anytime you are out of position, there are consequences of you being out of position. And some of these consequences are far beyond what you can handle, or what your family can handle, what your community can handle. So what is it going to take for us to figure out whether we are in the right position? That's one of the thoughts that I want to leave with you today. What is it going to take for you to actually take some time and measure yourself and find out whether you are in the right position? Can you be accountable to your own brothers and sisters? Can you be accountable in a position that is left for you? Can you defend your position? Can you secure your position? Or you're just going to run when a test comes for you? Remember, everything that's happening, you are going to be tested. And the result will tell us whether you are in the right position or not. You may say that it won't be a fair fight, but that is the only way most of these things are going to be happening. So, don't be spiritual. Embrace who you truly are. Embrace you as a spirit. If you don't know what that means, you need to take some schooling. And I am hoping that you do not take this message in one dimension. Meaning, if you are a religious person and you see this message as some sort of religious message, you are going to completely misunderstand me. This message, it's a royalty message. It's a kingdom message. It's a message of identity, of who you truly are and what you ought to be doing. And I'm hoping that you guys would have an opportunity to decipher that. My time's up, I am told. So I'm going to ask you guys that you take some time and check us out on our website at freedominion.com. Shoot us a message. Shoot us a message, especially those of you guys who may be clueless, who may be confused as to what it is that I'm saying. I spent some time talking about this because I know time is coming when you're going to have to be figuring out whether you truly understand who you are as a person, whether you can truly use the powers within you to save your own people. The test is coming, and you best be ready. And this test is not going to look at whether you are rich, poor, or whatever. It's simply going to reveal whether you know who you are. And with that in mind, let me shut up and let me wish you guys a super fantastic. We get to see you guys tomorrow again. Today, we talked about who we are. Who am I? I am a spirit, and I am not spiritual. And that is who you truly are as well. And that's where I want to end this at. I know most of you don't really know what I'm talking about. Some of you, I do know that you know what I'm talking about, but I cannot say that it's all of you. But I really hope that you can be safe, and I really hope that you can actually fight on behalf of your brothers and sisters who are struggling today. Because the time that we are in today requires that we have a collective strength in all domains in order for us to win over the challenges ahead of us. And with that in mind, thank you kindly, guys. I'm Freeman Singirankabo with AfriDominion.com. Today has been one of those tricky testimonies, so to speak, history in the making. And I am grateful for the opportunity that we have had to serve, to be of a service to you guys. And I hope that you are going to be well. I hope that God bless you guys. God be with you guys. And I hope that you can actually also become the beacon of yourself, the beacon of your families, the beacon of your nations, and you get to know who you truly are. And with that in mind, I wish you guys a super fantastic days. Until we see you again tomorrow, I am Freeman Singirankabo with AfriDominion. So long.